The Minnehaha Creek flows 22 miles from Lake Minnetonka through the western suburb cities of Minnetonka, Hopkins, St. Louis Park, Edina, and finally across South Minneapolis on its way to famous Minnehaha Falls before finally ending at the Mississippi River. Whether you take a canoe or a kayak, it's a magnificent urban adventure that can seem like a 7-hour-long amusement park flume ride. You'll paddle through dark tunnels that sneak under highways. You'll paddle through the backyards of beautiful homes. And you'll paddle through a surprising number of rushing rapids. In this series of videos, I'll take you on a journey from the start of the creek to the end, and along the way, I'll share some information and tips about how to have a successful trip. One of the very best resources for paddling the creek is the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District's website, which can be found at minnehahacreek.org. The beautiful, informative map I keep showing in this video is made by the Watershed District, and you can find it on their website. The map shows you 17 different places you can put in or take out, meaning you can make your trip as long or as short as you want. It also gives you information on the history of the creek, safety information, tells you how you can stop zebra mussels, and even tells you how to rent a canoe or a kayak. All right, here we are at Grays Bay Dam on Lake Minnetonka. This is Mr. Scott Travis.
Hello.
And this is Mr. Henry Travis. Henry, would you like to say hello to the people at home? He declines. This is our rig, filled with enough gear for at least 300 years.
Well,
there he is.
about.
And we have snacks, we have extra clothing, we have chairs. Henry's sitting in a car seat, which is an amazing ingenuity factor. We have a map. 22 miles. We're not going to do the whole thing. Well, you know what? We might actually. And here we are at Grays Bay Dam. You can see that the water is up over the dock, and that we will be paddling, for starters, into a beautiful little wetland pond-like area. And over here we have the dam itself. I'm somewhat arbitrarily dividing the creek into 4 sections, beginning with section 1, Minnetonka, which I'm defining as the 4.5 miles between Grays Bay Dam and Hopkins Crossroads. Oh, funny. We are en route. It is 11:36, and we have put in here at the headwaters. Let's take a closer look at this section. You can see that the creek starts at Lake Minnetonka. A mile downstream, there's a landing at Edina Park, and 1.5 miles after that, a landing at the Minnetonka Civic Center. Then the creek flows under Interstate 494 and through Burwell and Big Willow Parks before reaching Hopkins Crossroad. Yes, this dam, Grays Bay Dam, that we are standing above right now, they control the lake level of Lake Minnetonka. Essentially, Minnehaha Creek, which flows here from Lake Minnetonka in the western suburbs, flows 22 miles to the Mississippi River, and is basically just, I mean, one could think of it as a way to control the water level in Lake Minnetonka. Here you see the water flowing somewhat quickly out of gigantic Lake Minnetonka into the dam structure and then out into the wetland. And here's me,
A wooden weir.
your narrator for the day, Mr. Scott Miller, preparing for the creek. I've procured a, what do you call this again? Cattail. Thank you. / Nature's hot dog. And now I am presenting it to Henro,
Oh, there it goes.
who just threw it in the water.
It floats.
It floats, cool!
Now we know.
We started at mile 22, or I think we're at mile 21 now, here at Edina Park Landing. Beautiful little oak savanna with some nice steps down to the creek, and more kind of lakey, watery, wetland, marshy area in front of us. Now, Scott Travis. Mr. Scott Travis has just informed me that we started at elevation 900 and something?
29.
929, and by the time we're done, we'll be at
804.
804, which means we're gonna drop 130 feet between here and Minnehaha Falls, which is pretty amazing. Granted, we are portaging around 2 dams, but still, we should get some current here at some point. We've had our first disaster of the trip. Mr. Travis noticed that the canoe was filling up with water. Thankfully, there's no leak in the canoe. However, the beverage cooler filled with sticky Gatorade is now empty and slimed a bunch of our gear, including the child behind me, and some of our packs are laying in Gatorade now. Henry, do you have anything to say? Are you having fun?
Castles.
Oh, good. Beautiful purple flowers.
Oh, here comes some more cattails.
Bridge number 1, and I am ducking. Holy cow. Get down. Whoa. And here we are at bridge number 2, McGinty Road. We don't have to duck for this one, boys. Woo!
Yeah! Oh, I cleared it. Look at that. Woohoo!
This is pretty fun. I see traffic.
Ooh, I see wasp nests.
Ooh, wasp's nest.
That's one of those things.
And there's 494, bridge number 3 coming up.
Holy cow.
After the first 2 miles of slow water, if the water is high enough, you'll come to your first rapid right under Interstate 494. Yeah. Hey, there's a great blue heron in here. You'll see. Woo! Hi, heron. I hope I'm getting this on video. Okay, I do see there's okay, maybe that's just foam. Never mind, we're good. Bridge number 4 happening now.
Oh, it's dripping. See that fluff?
On the watershed's website, you can see how much water is being released into the creek at the Grays Bay Dam at Lake Minnetonka. Most of the time, there isn't enough water in the creek to be able to paddle it. In fact, sometimes there isn't enough water for a whole year or longer. At other times, the water level is so high that you shouldn't paddle the creek unless you have advanced paddling skills. The Watershed District recommends paddling the creek when the water levels are between 75 and 150 CFS. CFS stands for cubic feet per second. I will talk more in depth about water levels at the end of this video. These scenes are from Burwell Park, where there is a historic house you can stop and visit, as well as another rapid to be run. Yeah, okay. Looks like I would stay right on this initial portion. Yeah, this is good. Here we go. Hold on, Henry. Rapids! Woo! Hey! Holy cow. Bridge number 5. Plymouth Road. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Holy cow! Hello.
Hi.
Whoa. Here we go. It's going to be a blind right hand 90-degree turn into a rapid / tiny culvert. So everybody hold on to your horses, your pigs, your giraffes, your gorp. Let's bring a wide approach.
Okay, now draw.
Here we go.
Hold on, Henry.
That brings us to the end of this first section of the Minnehaha Creek. But before we go, a little bit more about water levels. The Watershed District suggests not paddling the creek if it's over 150 cubic feet per second.
But the truth is you can paddle it at levels up to 250 CFS, but only if you have advanced paddling skills. For example, if you are in a tandem canoe, the person in the back needs to have excellent steering skills, and the person in front also needs to be able to draw the bow of the canoe off of the bank when going around tight corners. Without these advanced skills, there is significant risk of tipping the boat, becoming injured by a tree branch, or hitting one's head on one of the many low-clearance bridges. That's why the Watershed District does not recommend paddling the creek at levels of higher than 150 CFS. This is an important recommendation to consider. At the other end of the spectrum, the district says you can paddle the creek at levels as low as 75 cubic feet per second. But in my opinion, you can expect a lot of scraping and even some walking at that level. So, if the ideal water levels are between 100 and 150 cubic feet per second, even at that level, a person needs to have a good handle on basic boat handling skills. The creek is not a good choice for an absolute beginner. And one should always be prepared in the creek for the possibility of tipping and getting wet. To that end, you should keep any valuables like cell phones in waterproof bags. That concludes Section 1 of the Minnehaha Creek. Some highlights from the next section include some fast food options, miles of wooden boardwalks, a hospital, and a golf course. So I hope you'll join me for Section 2, Hopkins and St. Louis Park, next.